You know what that sound means? It's another episode of Game for a Movie where we ask, are you game for a movie? My name is Mike. I'll be your host this afternoon. I have the third episode for Spoopy season. Spoopy season, we've been doing public domain characters in horror movies. This one was not what it was initially intended to be, but that's okay because honestly, this one might be better than what I was expecting it to be. What are we currently drinking? I am not currently drinking because I am on the clock, but I wish I could be drinking a Harpoon Rec League, one of my favorite drinks from Harpoon Brewery. And it's a fun fact to bring up about Harpoon because Harpoon Brewery, we kind of have a deal with them. If you are going to get anything from the Harpoon Brewery e-store, might I suggest using the code GFAM in order to save 25% off your apparel, glassware, souvenirs, and more from Harpoon Brewery. Get that Harpoon into your kitchen, into your life. Harpoon has definitely been a big part of this podcast because this is where the idea initially came up for the podcast. So yeah, highly recommend using the code GFAM for 25% off your order at the Harpoon Brewery e-store. Thank you, Harpoon Brewery. We appreciate everything that you've done for us. So use that code GFAM, save 25% off your Harpoon Brewery e-store purchase. All right, let's jump into the bad movie. This is the second revenge movie of Spoopy season as well. We've had Cinderella's Revenge. We had the Fairest of Them All. This is the third movie of Spoopy season, which is public domain characters in horror movies. This is Popeye's Revenge. Yes, Popeye the Sailor Man. And this is one of three Popeyes movies that actually got released this year. Popeye's Revenge is the worst of the three of them. There is Shiver Me Timbers and Popeye the Slayer Man, both not great, although Shiver Me Timbers is actually probably a pretty decent watch according to the Rotten Tomatoes numbers at least. This one, however, not as much is what I will say. Another fun fact about Popeye's Revenge is from ITN Distribution. ITN Distribution does a lot of these movies, especially public domain ones, including it was the distributor of Fairest of Them All. The cast, a lot of them have been in multiple different movies of ITN Distribution, including some of these people were in Fairest of Them All as well. We have Danielle Scott, who was in Fairest of Them All. She was the Aurora clone. Kelly Ryan Sanson was Cinderella in Fairest of Them All. She plays Olive Oil in this. It's a lot of people that you really don't recognize, but they keep going around this distribution cycle. They're in a bunch of those movies. The director is William Stead or Steed. I don't know how to pronounce it. Stead, I'm going to go with William Stead. He doesn't have a lot of big movies or anything to his name. This is probably one of the bigger ones. He has three upcoming movies, though, one of which is Popeye's Revenge 2, Dead Men's Spinach, Popeye Resurrection, and Popeye Requiem. Yes, we are getting a ton more Popeye horror movies. So thank you, William Stead, for keeping this going. The movie is written by Harry Boxley and E.C. Seeger. Harry Boxley, he's known for writing Cinderella's Curse, Mouseboat Massacre, Fairest of Them All, and Popeye's Revenge. He also wrote Hook, Mouse of Horrors, Piglet, lots of those kind of, B horror movie things. The funny thing I will say, though, about it is a lot of his movies, like I said, are these B horror movie kind of things. He also wrote Christmas with the Twins. That is like the one in all of this that isn't one of those horror or spoof-esque movies. The other writer, E.C. Seeger, he wrote Popeye, the original Popeye. And so he's just put on this as these are characters created by him. So he just gets his credit as he created the Popeye franchise as it is. This movie was nominated for one award. It is a Chainsaw Award and is the best resurrection of a public domain character. So yeah, it was nominated. It did not win. I can't imagine why. Maybe once you hear about this movie, you'll know why. So we started off with a drawing, and this shows how Popeye was born and that he was a C-section baby and that he was born with a deformity. His deformity was he was super strong. He had these weird arms that were like anchor arms. Plus he had like a face deformity as well. And it shows that he like breaks his dad's finger early on, like right away. And then it also then flashes forward to when he's a kid and how he was getting made fun of as a kid. But like there's one girl that stood up for him, and because of that, he got beat up even more. So he was made fun of as a kid, and he would fight them. And apparently there was an incident where he did kill a kid because he's just so much stronger than them. He's so much more powerful than them, that kind of thing. He told his parents what had happened, and then they kept him in the basement. They locked him away in the basement. Um, Also in the basement, for some reason, there was a friend on the other side of the locked basement door, and he would write letters to them. And so he became obsessed with this friend. But it was kind of, it was a conversation between two people who couldn't see each other that were locked in the basement. Flash forward, and a mob is very mad about what Popeye did. And so the mob shows up and burns down the house, killing the parents. But luckily, the child, Popeye, escapes. But he goes and runs to the lake that's right by the house. And unfortunately, he drowns in the lake, though his body was never found. So this is the origin of Popeye. Just a regular kid, little deformity. He's way too strong, kills a kid, mob kills him, that kind of story. It's the normal kind of prep for, he's a sympathetic character, kind of, we should feel bad for him. I don't know how bad we're going to feel for him, but at this point, we feel a little bad for him. Now it's present day, and there's people that are skipping rocks in the lake, and the people are two women. Their names are Cherry, May, and then there's another guy, Dylan, that comes into it as well. These three are trying to make a viral video because they run a channel called the Haunted Houses of Evil, and they plan on going to Johnny/Popeye's house. They called the kid Johnny, by the way. His name was Johnny. The nickname was Popeye because of his weird eyes. So they also kind of lay the myth of that when the fog rolls in, that is when Popeye kind of appears. So they need to get out of there before the fog rolls in. So this is going to be their big break. It's going to be a viral video. And May is the one who tapes it. She is the camera woman. And Dylan and Cherry are the stars of the viral video. They're the stars of the Haunted Houses of Evil. They're the ones that are the faces of it. I will say at this point, I was also very confused. I don't know if this guy's name is actually Dylan or Alan. I kept flipping back and forth because I think the subtitles did too. Like it was Dylan, it was Alan. So Dylan, Alan, whatever his name is, it was definitely Cherry. It was definitely May. May, you can tell, is a little on edge. She's not as used to this. She's a freelancer who was getting paid to do this. So she's just there to help them out. So Cherry and Alan go down to the house, and they are going to record some more of the actual house itself. May is kind of like, I'm going to go get some ambient sound and stuff to help out with the recording and everything like that. You can tell it's kind of just, I'm afraid, I don't want to go there, but she uses that as an excuse. As May is getting the sound, Alan and Cherry, yeah, they're going to get it on. They are a couple that I guess Cherry kind of gets her rocks off on doing it in haunted houses and stuff like that. I don't know if that's exactly what it is, but she definitely enjoys the fact that they're in this house and they are getting all this footage and stuff like that, and they're going to be famous. And she also leaves the camera at the worst angle possible. She's kind of making a sex tape almost, but where she leaves the camera is terrible. It's an absolutely horrible spot. May is getting the sound. She's up on a rock, and Popeye sneaks up behind her and smashes her with an anchor. Just absolutely just smashes her with an anchor. And even though he's shown to be super strong, he doesn't kill her. She tries crawling away and trying to get to Cherry and Alan Dillon, whatever his name is. And He catches up to her and smashes her head in with his heel, just keeps like stomping on her head, just pulp left. We go back to the sex now, and Cherry is about to come until a hand goes straight through her. Like it goes through her chest, like just straight through her. And it spills all this blood all over Alan. And he's like freaking out because now he's covered in blood and the dead body of Cherry. And somehow he escapes, but he's being chased by Popeye, and Popeye has his anchor. He hides behind this wood panel, and Popeye, of course, starts to walk away. So, it's one of those classic, he walked away, cool, I can get out now kind of thing. So Alan tries to escape the other way, but then Popeye comes out of nowhere and blocks his way, and he hits his leg with a hammer, just completely breaking the leg. Popeye then tries to choke him out, but Alan's able to grab the hammer and hit him in the head. Great. Alan Dillon, he's going to survive. He finds a ladder to try to crawl out on one leg, but Popeye is able to grab him, and then he squeezes his head until his eyes pop out. All of this is happening while Popeye is just like grunt screaming, just and it's just very weird, this whole exchange. But whatever. More for what you do. Popeye then goes to the door in the basement, like where him and his friend were split, if you remember that. And there's a letter that says "Welcome back" with a smiley face. So Popeye is back, and he is going to get his revenge. Popeye's revenge. The three people we thought were going to be like main characters, now they're all dead. Sorry, but that's the way it goes. Now we get introduced to George and Laura. George and Laura are the new owners of the Popeye house, because Mrs. Astor died and left it to them. We don't know who Mrs. Astor is. We don't know anything about their relationship or anything, but that she died, she left Popeye's house to George and Laura. And we meet the kids, Donna, Dylan, and Tara. Tara is our main character, and she is played by Emily Mulgner. I don't know, something like that. Yeah, this is her only movie, but she is the main star of this one. Tara she grabs the keys to the Popeye house and then goes to try to meet her friends. Donna and Dylan are talking, and it's kind of like you feel like they like each other. Maybe that's what the secret is, because Dylan has a secret. We don't know what it is, but Dylan has a secret, and Dylan and Tara are together. Basically, Donna's just kind of like, you should tell her, but he's like, I'll wait until the time is right, that kind of thing. We also get introduced to Kathy, Nick, Sky, and more. I tried to keep track of everybody's names as this was happening. It was a lot of people at a short period of time, but it's your typical teen group. They're horny, they're goofy, they're teen friend group, that kind of thing. This is where we learn why Tara grabbed the keys to the Popeye house. She is planning to convert it into a haunted house attraction. Also, like make like a camp style thing where you can camp out there and stay around the Popeye house. She plans on having all of these teens help her convert it for the weekend, and they have a short time frame, and they're kind of like, what the hell, we're not going to be able to do this, but they agree to help because Tara's mom, Laura, used to be their teacher, and she's like the cool teacher. She was the awesome teacher, so they all agree to do this to help it out. Because it wouldn't be a tropey scary movie without it, they go to a gas station and they run into this creepy fisherman who warns them to stay away. And obviously they're not going to do that because, he's a creepy guy. He doesn't know. So they're going to try to go anyway. And one of the things I commented on with this is the house burnt down. This house is back up, and it's just part of the reconstruction process. They already had it up, kind of thing. Apparently the town like rebuilt it, we don't know this at this point, but this is what happens. The town rebuilt this house. Um, but it makes it easier because now Tara has the starting point. The house is already there, so now they just need to like make it a little creepy. So as they get there, Kathy walks away and she screams. It gets the whole squad's attention. Oh God, what is this? Well, uh, there is a hot tub there, and that is exactly what she wants. She wants this hot tub. Also, none of them knew about this, but apparently they're going to be staying there for a couple of days, um, at these cabins that are already kind of built up there. So I don't know how nobody knew this because they knew it was going to be a weekend of trying to build this and everything like that. But yeah, so they're going to stay at these cabins around there, and they are going to rebuild the house. And there's a hot tub. That's the important thing. Donna, Beanie, Dylan, and Tara go to unload the car. Nick is with Donna, like together, but he seems to be hitting on Sky. So it's later that night. Tara's freaking out because it's supposed to be foggy the entire week, and they're going to have less daylight to work in. Tara's like the type A personality. She takes things to heart. Everything that happens is just kind of like, why is this happening to me? Why is this happening to me? So it's a big deal for her that she wants to get this done. She doesn't like that it's going to be foggy all week and it's going to ruin this. C'est la vie. That's what's going to happen. You're going to work in fog. Sorry, get over it. She's telling Dylan all of this. Dylan's also trying to tell her something, but he can't really get a word in edgewise. And finally, like when he tries to tell her something, um, it doesn't go well. So he kind of holds back. He doesn't reveal his secret yet. So he still has a secret. The creepy fisherman is out that night. He shows up and he's going to go fishing in the lake they told everyone to avoid because, rules from thee, not for me kind of thing. And so he sees something in the fog, like he's kind of looking and he sees something in the fog. But then Popeye comes up behind him and chokes him to death with the chain from his anchor. Just gone. So creepy fisherman, dead. We've got a body count of what, 5 now? Because if you count the kid in the beginning, the 3 people that were recording, and then this creepy fisherman. So we've got a death count of 5 so far. The teens are hanging out. They're having a good time. They're swimming in the hot tub, that kind of stuff. Tara's freaking out about the weather. So she suggests that they get some work done before they go to sleep. And again, this goes back to her type A personality. She wants to get stuff done. She wants to get it up and running. She thinks this is a good investment opportunity or a good like money maker kind of thing. Then we go back to Laura and George. They are the parents of Tara. Laura and George are talking about selling the house, but for whatever reason, Laura just won't do it. She just won't get rid of it. That kind of is the whole point of showing these two, because now we go back to the teens. Sky and Kathy are like the 2 dumb party girls. Beanie is the drug dealer loser who can't get girls' attentions. He has an attraction to Sky. Yeah, he has an attraction to one of them, and he tries to get their attentions, but of course it doesn't go well. They're talking, they're having a good time, they're partying, they're working a little bit, and then they get interrupted. Somebody knocks at the door, and it's this crazy lady. And when they open the door, she just walks in, just like she owns the place kind of thing. She walks in, and she just looks and goes and sees everything and goes, he's not going to like this. And Donna basically talks her out of the house and basically tells her to fuck off. Donna's like the strong-willed woman. She definitely is like the alpha of the women kind of thing. So yeah, she's the one. She steps up. She tells them to fuck off. Tara kind of feels bad at this point. She feels bad that Donna was so cruel to her. So she goes and tries to find the random lady. This lady tells Tara that she wants them all to suffer the way he suffered. And like it's insinuating it's Popeye, but she doesn't say who he is. And then the random lady just takes off running down the road. Yeah, that's what we get from night 1. Tara comes back and says like, okay, we're done. we're good kind of thing. Nick and Donna kind of have a little fight, a little spat, and it's just because Nick is the horn dog, like where he thinks he's the alpha male. He acts like he's the alpha male, but really he's just like, I just want to put my dick in whatever I can put my dick in. That's basically what Nick is. Donna is a little more wine and dine me is not the right term, but that's a little more of how she is. She's a little more like, I don't want to say prude because I feel like prude has negative connotation. She doesn't want to be treated like an object, and that's totally fair. That's okay. Um, Nick is constantly like talking about her body and that he's going to use it and that kind of stuff. And Donna's just kind of like, hey, I'm smart. I'm pretty, yes, but I'm smart. Like, come on, I'm not just a body. So that's their little spat kind of thing. So Donna walks off and Nick's kind of like, what the fuck? Dylan finally is able to talk to Tara. And the secret is revealed. He got in to Lakeman College. And she's like so happy for him. And the issue is that he wants her to come with him, but it's on the other side of the country and it's away from their families. And Tara is very like family forward kind of thing. She doesn't want to do it. So it kind of creates a rift between Dylan and Tara. So they're kind of like, they're also in this spat phase kind of thing. So both couples are kind of having this little tiff. Yeah. So let's go back to Nick. Nick, who just had a fight with Donna, remember, is now in the hot tub with Sky. And they are getting it on. They're getting a little freaky. Sky, like full boobs out kind of thing. Sky, but Sky stops it and says, I want you to end things with Donna because I don't want to be just a side piece. Nick kind of is like, why would I do that? Why would I do such a thing? That kind of thing. Yeah. Sky then threatens to tell Donna about everything going on. And he's just like, well, you just ruined this. So now we're done. So Nick then leaves the hot tub and Sky's alone. And Sky is kind of still like pissed about everything. And so she writes this really long text to Donna. I couldn't really read it, so I don't know what it says, but writes this text to Donna. Now, the message doesn't go anywhere. We learned earlier on that there's like no cell reception or anything like that. So it doesn't really send. But it's just a really long message she sends to Donna, just kind of probably explaining what's going on. After she sends this, fog starts rolling in. And this fog is definitely like a smoke machine. Like it's pretty obvious. But it starts to roll in on Sky, who's alone in the hot tub and also just sitting there tits out, as you do. As she's sitting there, she's kind of like closing her eyes and an anchor appears to the side of her throat and Popeye starts strangling her with it. And it cuts her in the process. He holds her head like under the water. So she's like bleeding in the hot tub. She's being choked and she's also being held underwater. Sky, yep, she's dead. And Popeye puts a pipe in his mouth and he's joined by the crazy lady. This also zooms in on the phone, showing that the message failed to send to Donna. So yeah, we got 6 people down. Now seems like a great time to take a little break. We will be back on the other side with more revenge from Popeye and what else happens to the teams, the parents, and more after this break. All right, we're back. It's the next morning. Nick insists that Sky took a cab home. That's what he thinks happened to Sky. He thinks Sky was just like pissed off and left. So this is how they get around explaining that Sky just is no longer around there. Beanie tries to ask Kathy out, but he gets rejected. So now that's the thing. But she rejects him of like using his phone and taking a picture of her with like just looking seductive and basically says like, here, you just want me for my body anyway. Why don't you just masturbate to that? Essentially. Yeah, that's essentially what we get from that. That's a very weird way to reject someone. But that's not me. So I don't know. Beanie is pissed about this, so he walks off to the woods alone. And of course, there is fog in the woods. When he gets to the lake on the outside of the woods, he finds a boat and he climbs aboard. And he's like walking around the boat. He starts to smell something and he can't figure out what it is, but it's Alan's dead body that he never actually sees. It's like on the other side of a wall, and he's like on there, kind of like never sees it. So he never actually sees it. He doesn't know that somebody's dead. He just hops off the boat because he's like, it smells weird here. So he goes to the pier and he decides to jerk it to the picture of Kathy because why the fuck not? Yeah, he goes to a pier, he pulls his pants down, he looks at the picture and starts jerking. Before he can finish, an anchor is jabbed from under the pier straight into his dick, like straight into it. Yeah, Popeye is there, obviously. Popeye crawls out of the water and just rips out his spine, rips it from his head with his bare hands, like just spine. And this is definitely like a Halloween prop. Like they cut a skeleton prop and just had the spine part of it. It's so fake looking. But yeah, he rips out his spine. So Beanie is dead, missing a spine. It's night 2. Nick, Kathy, and Tara are now relaxing in the hot tub. And even like Tara's relaxing, like she's not being type A. And Donna comes over to take a picture. And so she like gets her phone. And as she's getting her phone, she gets signal randomly. And the message from Sky goes through. And so, yeah, Donna reads the message and is now pissed at Nick, like just absolutely pissed at him. So both of them kind of storm off. And then we go back to Tara's parents' house. And they learn through Dylan's mother that they went to the house. And like they thought that Tara was just kind of like hanging with her friends, doing a sleepover kind of thing for the weekend or going camping or whatever they were doing. Well, now they learn that they are at the Popeye house and now it's bad. They need to get there as soon as possible. So all 3 of them, Tara's parents, Laura, George, and then Dylan's mom, all hop in the car and go. And Dylan's mom's name is Jane. I didn't know that at this point, but Dylan's mom's name is Jane. Nick and Donna are fighting in the house because he cheated. And Donna leaves. Donna walks away. And Nick is pissed off, so he starts punching this wood board over and over and over again until he's bleeding. Plus, he's kind of like splintered the board. He's got anger issues. Like he's like taking it out on this poor wooden board, but that's just what he wanted to do. The window smashes open and like it just gets smashed in. And Dylan kind of like, or Dylan, Nick walks over and kind of sees what it is. It's an empty can of spinach. Yes, we've got spinach in this movie because it wouldn't be a Popeye movie without some spinach. So because the window is open because of the smashed spinach can, the fog starts rolling in and Popeye is able to come running in. Nick is able to throw him to the ground and like starts punching him, but Popeye grabs his hand and just like breaks it. Popeye then breaks his other hand. And so now Nick is kind of like defenseless against Popeye. Popeye grabs the back of his head and starts pushing it towards the splintered board that Nick was punching earlier. And this is how Nick dies. He gets his head just put onto the splintered board. So yeah, Nick is dead. Donna is walking towards the cars. She's going to take one of them home because she needs to get out of there. And she sees that there's an axe in the tires of one of them. And basically, she just assumes this was Nick trying to get her to not leave. I don't know what she was doing because like she left Nick in the house. She must have done something in the meantime before she goes to the cars. Like, what did she do in that time that she thinks that Nick was able to leave the house, break the tires, and then disappear? But yeah, so she thinks Nick is trying to get her to not leave. So he axed the tires of the car. She goes back to the cabin and she sees that Nick is dead on the splintered board. After seeing his corpse, she opens the curtains on the windows and sees the creepy lady. She's staring through the window. Then Popeye pops out behind her and chases her out of the cabin. We do not see what happens to Donna. We just see that she got chased out. Meanwhile, Tara overslept and Dylan is waking her saying they don't know where anyone else is. Like everybody is gone. They don't know where they are. They find Kathy. So Tara, Dylan, and Kathy, they meet in the woods where Tara says they're going to check the lake since the fog is in again. As they're like going to the lake, Tara finds this picture of a like classroom, like with the students and everything like that, and sees that Tara's mom is the teacher. And so she's like kind of piecing stuff together, but not really. Like she pieces little things here and there, that kind of stuff, but not all of it. So Donna's running through the woods. She hides behind a tree. Popeye walks past her, like walks past the tree, doesn't see her or anything like that. So she thinks she's safe. She takes a step out and this net snaps around her and she's trapped and screaming. She's stuck in this net. And she's trying to get out, but she can't. And this net also is kind of like holding her against the ground. Like she's just stuck on the ground in this net. And Popeye just so happens to have a big ass lawnmower ready to go facing her. And he runs her over. My thing is that she was trying to get out. Then she sees the lawnmower and then she just doesn't attempt to get out anymore. She just yells at him. Like it's almost as bad as in Austin Powers where they're running towards the guy with the steamroller and he's not getting out of the way and just yelling. It's almost that bad. Like she's just stuck in this net, not trying to get out, just yelling as this lawnmower comes towards her. Whatever. All right. Tara brings the picture back to Dylan and Kathy, and they are wondering why the picture is burnt. They can't figure out why the picture is burnt. Now the three of them hear screaming, and they rush that way. Tara and Dylan are faster than Kathy, and of course, she trips. She does the whole like white girl running in a scary movie. She trips, falls, and now she's being chased by Popeye. Luckily for Kathy, a car rolls in, shining a light on Popeye, catching his attention. And it's Laura, George, and Jane. They see that he's there and he kind of rushes away now that they shine the light on him. He kind of runs away because he's thinking, okay, he might be in trouble here. So he runs away and the three parents get out of the car, but they leave the keys in the car. Why? I don't know, but they just do. So the three are out of the car, and Jane's kind of like off to her own side. And Popeye sneaks behind Jane, wraps the chain around her neck, choking her until her eyes pop out. George, being the man in this, tries to square up with Popeye, but then changes his mind and runs off with Laura. Tara and Dylan find Laura and George, who then tell Dylan that, hey, Jane, your mom, she's dead. Kathy is once again running and she trips over Jane's dead body. So, as you do. But she sees that there's a car. And so she also sees the keys in it. So she gets into the car and she tries to turn it on, but the engine's sputtering. Popeye walks up to the car and lifts the car and flips it over easily. So Kathy's like in the car upside down. And again, all she does is scream. She doesn't try to do anything. She just screams. And there's gas spilling from the overturned car. And Popeye lights a match for his pipe and drops it on the gas. Of course, goes to the car, blows up. Yep, Kathy gone. So there's only four of them left. It's George, Laura, Dylan, and Tara. So the four get to a cabin. And now is the big reveal. Laura has a secret. Popeye was a student of Laura's. And when he died, all the people of Sweetville, yes, it's called Sweetville. This is the first time we hear it. I'm just like, what? They all had dreams about rebuilding the house. And so that's why they did it. That's why the house was rebuilt. Tara was also like Johnny / Popeye's age. And she was the one that tried to stop the bullies from picking on him. And so Laura was afraid that something would happen to Tara. So she went with the mob and burned his house down. She was part of the mob that killed Popeye. After telling this secret, the creepy lady pops through the window and starts stabbing both Laura and George. And we learn that the creepy lady is Olive Oil, Johnny slash Popeye's sister, and that she knew Tara would not be hurt by Johnny because she showed him love early on. This is the same woman who kind of said, "I hope you all suffer like he did." Um, Olive was also kept in the basement before Johnny. We don't know why. We don't know why Olive was in the basement before Johnny, but she was. And she was the one that had been exchanging notes with him. So this is the brother sister relationship kind of thing. We also learn from her that Johnny lives in the fog that rolls in from the lake. So all he can only go where the fog takes him. He's only a part of the fog. Um, as she is monologuing about like they want to play, they want to hang out, they want to have their childhood, not kill people. Dylan tries to hit her with a frying pan, but Olive is able to overpower him. And then Tara pours a jug of gas on her. They grab Laura, who was stabbed, but she's still alive. They grab her and run out, but Olive grabs Tara. Well, Dylan just so happens to have a lighter on hand and says, "This is for my mother, you bitch," and tosses on Olive. So guess what? Olive, dead, gone. She's no longer an issue. They got rid of the creepy lady Olive Oil. But as they're out there, Popeye sneaks behind Laura and starts choking her. He also yells Tara at her, at Tara. And so Popeye kills Laura. And so that's another person. No. And then after like leaving her lifeless corpse, he runs at Dylan and starts beating him senseless, just absolutely destroying him, rocking him. He is just getting the absolute shit kicked out of him. Tara is able to get away. And wouldn't you know it, right in the area is that big lawnmower. And so she's able to start the lawnmower. Dylan, he was able to grab the anchor that Popeye carries around with him, which has the chain wrapped around Popeye's legs, throws it, and he's dragged onto the ground. Perfect for Tara to run him over. So Tara runs him over with the lawnmower. We get the fakest blood ever. It just spurts from the lawnmower as Popeye is run over. Partially, mind you. He's not like fully run over. He's just kind of run over. Dylan and Tara, they save the day. They embrace. And Dylan asks at this point in time, "Does this mean you will stay with me?" This is not the time, my dude. Her parents died. Your parents died. Everybody's dead. But you want to know if she's going to go away with you to college. Well, I guess everybody's dead. She doesn't have anything holding him back. So they embrace, they kiss, everything like that. So the sun starts to rise. The fog starts to lift. And Tara throws the keys for the house into the lake. But these keys, they then pop back out at her feet. And Popeye grabs her as she screams. Credits roll. It's over. Yeah, that's it. That's Popeye's Revenge. So yeah. This was a movie. This was definitely a movie. I was really excited because I saw Popeye and I was like, I wanted to do Popeye the Slayer Man. That's really what I wanted to do. But that is at 43% on Rotten Tomatoes. So I couldn't do it. It's too high a score, that kind of thing. So I couldn't do it. Then I saw Shiver Me Timbers. I was like, maybe this one. No, that's a 58% on Rotten Tomatoes. But then as I'm scrolling Tubi, I found Popeye's Revenge. This is a 3.2 out of 10 on IMDb. There's no Rotten Tomatoes score, so that's, by my calculations, at 32%. Perfect. Good enough. Let's do it. Yeah. I would have loved this movie if it had some more creative kills. And that's I know that sounds bleak and everything like that, but this is what I watch scary movies for. If you're going to be a B horror movie, you got to have some cool kills. The fact that most of the time he was just choking somebody with an anchor, it got kind of boring after a while with that. The fog was an interesting idea that he can only go with the fog, that kind of thing. I didn't mind that so much because it kind of gave him like a ghostly apparition kind of thing. We've done he loved you as a kid, and so now he doesn't want to harm you. Okay, his brother, sister. Okay, Um, it's just kind of it's every trope in this movie. Every trope was over and over and over again in this movie. Like it was trope the movie. It was I would have loved if it was a little more unique with it. If you're gonna be a concept like this, like make it a little more fun. Make it Popeye not just choking everybody. That's the hardest part is that it was just Popeye's gonna choke everybody. Okay, fine, whatever. It gets boring after a while, but whatever. Um, I wish they used a little more of the spinach. I thought that was funny. I thought that was one of my favorite parts was that the spinach broke the window to let the fog in. I thought that was a unique idea. That was kind of fun. I wish they would have done a little more with it. I think that's why I wanted to watch Popeye the Slayer Man because it's at an abandoned spinach factory. But like I said, it's not bad enough. We're a bad movie podcast. We got to do the worst of the worst. So this one was, I'm gonna say it's. I think it's worse than Cinderella's Revenge. I think it's worse than Fairest of Them All, because it was a lot of fake, a lot of dumb, and a lot of characters you really weren't cheering for. I was totally okay with all the teens getting it in the end. Like none of them had any redeeming qualities. Even Tara, who you're supposed to cheer for, she was so like uptight that she was annoying to me. Because that was her only personality was just, we gotta do this, we gotta do this. The weather, oh my god, that kind of stuff. That was nothing redeeming about any of them. So I was totally okay with all of the teens getting just absolutely decimated. So yeah, what I give this movie out of 5? I would probably give it a 0.25 out of 5 of spinach cans breaking through windows. Yeah, that's probably the best I can do. Because like Cinderella's Revenge was good comparatively. Fairest of Them All was better. I wish they would have done more with that concept, but it was better. So yeah, I think this one has to be 3 out of 3 so far for Spoopy season. So yeah, Popeye I think is a character that would be a lot of fun as a horror villain, and maybe I'll watch those other two just as a good movie just because maybe they do something fun with it. Now that being said, we get 3 more from this director and this company, so who knows? Maybe they'll strike gold next time, depending on everything that happened with this one. But yeah, so that's Popeye's Revenge. That is the 3rd episode of Spoopy season. We've got 2 more still to come. Next one is another ITN distribution. It has a lot of the same cast. So yeah, it's going to be interesting on that one. And then the final one is completely different, but it just needs to happen. So yeah, we are looking forward to the rest of Spoopy season. 2 more episodes. I hope you're as excited as I am. And then we'll get back to our normal content when we go to November. But yeah, 2 more Spoopy season episodes. And that will do it for this episode of Game for a Movie, where we ask, are you game for a movie? I've been Mike, your host. Thank you guys very much for tuning in to hear about Popeye's Revenge. And I will see you next time for our next Spoopy season episode. Bye.